Al Ackerman with sports, Marilyn Turner with the weather, Ben Marshall with a report on the Swainson trial, Dave Whitman with a dollars and cents tip on buying firewood, and Troy Dungan with a report on restoring old autos. All join Jack Legoff, John Kelly, and Detroit's #1 news team for Channel 7's 6 o'clock Action News next.
John, Michigan State Bar Association President George Bushnell has called for John B. Swainson to resign as a justice of the Michigan Supreme Court in the wake of his conviction yesterday on 3 counts of perjury. At the same time, Bushnell was extremely critical of the conduct of Robert Ozer, the chief prosecutor of the Organized Crime Task Force, during the trial. Channel 7 newsman Ben Marshall, who covered the trial, has this post-verdict report.
Jack Swainson's attorney, Conrad Cole, does not believe Swainson should step down from the High Court at this time, despite the fact he stands convicted of perjury. Cole said had the government not waited nearly 3 years to seek an indictment, there would not have been a perjury conviction. He said further that had the government questioned the late Chief Justice Thomas M. Kavanaugh, he would have completely exonerated Justice Swainson. But the government did not seek an indictment until after Justice Kavanaugh was dead. Cole also revealed that Swainson had testified before the grand jury against his advice because the justice believed as a member of the judiciary he had an obligation to do so. Had he refused to testify, as he had every right to do, he would now be free of all charges.
After all, he has been acquitted of the basic charges against him, and I would hope at least that the judge would look more favorably now upon these motions that we have filed.
Let me ask you just this. Is it your view that John Swainson is a victim of a railroad job by Robert Ozer and the strike force?
I think that I express my own views now, you understand that, but I think that this grand jury procedure is basically unfair because, as I indicated before, there's no opportunity to cross-examine any witnesses. You don't even know what witnesses have appeared before the grand jury. You don't know what evidence they've assembled. And let's give you an indication. When John Swainson went before the grand jury, he did not have any telephone logs. You recall the evidence established that back in 1973, the grand jury had subpoenaed John Swainson's telephone logs, office and home, unbeknownst to John Swainson. Now, if he'd had those telephone logs, he could readily have made reference to them and seen that there was a telephone call that he made on October the 6th. And I think clearly we wouldn't have that perjury charge and conviction at this time.
Do you think he was railroaded?
You want me to use that word railroaded, and I don't think I'm going to use that term. I'm saying
Is Ozer trying to make a name for himself?
Well, I think perhaps only Mr. Ozer could answer that question, and I don't propose to speak for him.
I tried to talk with Mr. Ozer, but he wouldn't talk with me. 3 times we tried without success to reach him by phone to seek an appointment. Then I went to his office in person. I was handed a written statement defending what Bar Association President George Bushnell had called Ozer's irresponsible conduct at the trial. I asked if Mr. Ozer would see me in person. The answer was no. I asked if there was a reason. The answer was no. Bushnell, incidentally, although he has called for Swainson to step down, told me he hopes and prays the verdict is overturned.
When a man seeks public office, when a man holds even a quasi-public office, such as I do right now, we give up certain rights that are given to other citizens.
Do you think John Swainson was railroaded by Robert Ozer and the strike force?
I can't answer that question as you put it, Mr. Marshall. All I know about this trial is what I've read in the papers. I have serious and grave concerns about the conduct of representatives of the Department of Justice throughout this entire matter.
You think John Swainson got a bad bum rap, and it's a dirty, rotten thing?
If I was speaking personally, I might well adopt that language. I am not speaking personally, and as a consequence, I cannot comment on that. I'll say this. John Swainson got a full and a fair trial. I may be personally disappointed in the result, and I am. I may be personally upset by the result, and I am. But I don't question in one particular, but what he had every right guaranteed to everyone as a citizen.
You obviously don't think he's guilty.
I've known this man for 25 years, and there has been, and I've known him well and intimately, and there has been nothing in our association that would give rise to the slightest suspicion that he would be guilty of the crime as charged.
Well, although there has been a trial and a verdict, the final chapter has not yet been written in the case of the United States versus John B. Swainson. Jack?
Then there have been a lot of questions raised and a lot of eyebrows raised concerning Whalen, a convicted felon, going free, while a former Supreme Court justice and a former governor of the state of Michigan and a former World War II hero is convicted.
Well, there's no question that the government made a deal with Whalen. They admitted that. The court accepted it. He's had his first unlawful activity, as I understand it, was at the age of 11. I don't believe he's ever had a job. I know during the course of the investigation he was not gainfully employed, nor did he file an income tax return during those years. He, on the stand, you recall some time ago, he had said he bribed the state police. He readily admitted on the stand, I lied.
And he walks the streets. Thank you, Ben. John?
John Swainson has been a popular and influential man in the state of Michigan for many years. In an attempt to sample your feelings on his convictions, Channel 7 News found that while many people are disappointed in the man, some have renewed confidence in the system.
It's too bad that since the jury found him innocent of bribery, that he had to go commit perjury. I think that is going to get him in trouble.
I think he's innocent, and that is really my opinion about it. He might be guilty, but I believe he's innocent.
It's pretty much about time we start putting an end to it. I think the Swainson trial is a good indication of how our system does work and how I think it should keep on working.
If Swainson indeed does appeal his convictions, he faces still, and if those appeals fail, he faces up to 15 years in prison and a maximum $6,000 fine.